ji. Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om.
Dipti, are you saying something?
Now I am.
Okay.
You can hear?
Yes.
Okay. I was saying Hari Om to someone. So I was mumbling. Yeah, you're right.
Hari Om, Dipti.
Hari Om ji. Welcome to the class. And who wants to chant? Anybody wants to?
I'll take the opportunity today.
Great. Very good. Start.
Recording, Dipti ji.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Recording has started.
Start.
Sadashiv Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namani Bhagavad-pada Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badharayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sah Viryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Very good. Wonderful. Excellent. You want to do the verses also?
Yes, Dipti, can I repeat after you?
Okay. We'll do 69 to 72. Ya nisha sarvabhutanam
Ya Nisha Sarvabhutanam
tasyam jagarti sanyami
Tasyam Jagrati Sanyami
jagarti sanyami
Jagarti Sanyami
yasyam jagrati bhutani
Yasyam Jagrati Bhutani
sa nisha pashyato munehe
Tanisha Pashyato Munehe
या निशा सर्वभूतानां तस्यां जागर्ति संयमी
Ya Nisha Sarvabhutanam Tasyam Jagrati Sanyami
यस्यां जागृति भूतानि सा निशा पश्यतो मुनेः
Yasyam Jagrati Bhutani Tanisha Pashyato Munehi
या निशा सर्वभूतानां तस्यां जागर्ति संयमी यस्यां जागृति भूतानि सा निशा पश्यतो मुनेः
Ya Nisha Sarvabhutanam Tasyam Jagrati Sanyami Yasyam Jagrati Bhutani Tanisha Pashyato Munehi
आपूर्यमाणम् अचलप्रतिष्ठम्
Apuryamanam Chala Pratishtham
आपूर्यमाणम् अचलप्रतिष्ठम्
आपूर्णमान आपूर्णमानं चल प्रतिष्ठम्
आपूर्यमाणम् अचलप्रतिष्ठम्
आपूर्यमानं चल प्रतिष्ठम्
समुद्रमापः प्रविशन्ति यद्वत्
समुद्रमापः प्रविशन्ति यद्वत्
तद्वत् कामायं प्रविशन्ति सर्वे
तद्वत् कामायं प्रविशन्ति सर्वे
स शान्तिमाप्नोति न कामकामी
शान्तिमाप्नोति न कामकामी
वेरी गुड आपूर्यमाणम् अचलप्रतिष्ठम् समुद्रमापः प्रविशन्ति यद्वत्
आपूर्यमाणं चलप्रतिष्ठम् समुद्रमापः प्रविशन्ति यद्वत्
तद्वत् कामायं प्रविशन्ति सर्वे स शान्तिमाप्नोति न कामकामी
तद्वत् कामायं प्रविशन्ति सर्वे न स शान्तिमाप्नोति न कामकामी
वेरी गुड विहाय कामान्यः सर्वान् पुमां शरति निःस्पृहः विहाय कामान्यः सर्वान्
विहाय कामान्यः सर्वान्
पुमां शरति निःस्पृहः
पुमाश्वरति निःस्पृहः
निर्ममो निरहङ्कारः
निर्ममो निरहङ्कारः
स शान्तिमधिगच्छति
शान्तिमधिगच्छति
विहाय कामान्यः सर्वान् पुमांश्चरति निःस्पृहः
विहाय कामान्यः सर्वान् पुमाश्वरति निःस्पृहः
पुमांश्चरति निःस्पृहः
मांश्वरति निःस्पृहः
निर्ममो निरहङ्कारः स शान्तिमधिगच्छति
निर्ममो निरहङ्कारः स शान्तिमधिगच्छति
विहाय कामान्यः सर्वान् पुमांश्चरति निःस्पृहः
विहाय कामान्यः सर्वान् पुमाश्वरति निःस्पृहः
निर्ममो निरहङ्कारः स शान्तिमधिगच्छति
निर्ममो निरहङ्कारः स शान्तिमधिगच्छति
विहाय कामान्यः सर्वान् पुमांश्चरति निःस्पृहः निर्ममो निरहङ्कारः स शान्तिमधिगच्छति
विहाय कामान्यः सर्वान् पुमाश्वरति निःस्पृहः निर्ममो निरहङ्कारः स शान्तिमधिगच्छति
एषा ब्राह्मी स्थितिः पार्थ
एषा ब्राह्मणी स्थितिः पार्थः
एषा ब्राह्मी स्थितिः पार्थ
एषा ब्राह्मी स्थितिः पार्थः
नैनां प्राप्य विमुह्यति
नैनां प्राप्य विमुह्यति
स्थित्वा स्यामन्तकालेऽपि
स्थित्वा यामन्तकालेऽपि
ब्रह्मनिर्वाणमृच्छति
ब्रह्मनिर्वाणमृच्छति
एषा ब्राह्मी स्थितिः पार्थ नैनां प्राप्य विमुह्यति
एषा ब्राह्मी स्थितिः पार्थः नैनां प्राप्य विमुह्यति
Partha, it is Sambodhan, therefore it is not Parthaha. This is just Partha. स्थित्वा स्यामन्तकालेऽपि ब्रह्मनिर्वाणमृच्छति
स्थित्वा यामन्तकालेऽपि ब्रह्मनिर्वाणमृच्छति
एषा ब्राह्मी स्थितिः पार्थ नैनां प्राप्य विमुह्यति स्थित्वा स्यामन्तकालेऽपि ब्रह्मनिर्वाणमृच्छति
एषा ब्रह्मी स्थितिः पार्थ नैनां प्राप्य विमुह्यति स्थित्वा स्यामन्तकालेऽपि ब्रह्मनिर्वाणमृच्छति
Very good, very good. What an amazing difference. Excellent efforts, all of you. Great. So, keep it up. Yeah. So, we finished 69th verse and 70th verse yesterday, talking about a person whose knowledge is established, whose wisdom is established, whose Atma Gyan Drishti is firmly, unshakenly available in identity as one's nature. Such a person, to him, all the desires are have fallen off. The words seem to say that we get the words to say, we understand them to say that he gives up desires, छोड़ता है, त्यागता है. This छोड़ना and त्याग करना, इच्छाओं के पीछे भागना, that is initial stage which is applicable to every person, to all of us. Initially, the effort is to balance a life in such a way that we are not entirely desire driven. How will we conduct our life? We are the architects of our life. How do we conduct our life in a way that we keep bringing nishkamata in our life? Starting point for everybody, every individual, every jiva is driven by desire. That is default. No harm in it, nothing wrong in it, except if you leave it at that, in its place, that's a model of life that everybody follows. What is a model of life? Don't worry about where your desires are. If you have found yourself having certain desires, seek to fulfill them. This is a Vyavharik normal model of life, more so popular today in, in our context of life. Model of life means that is the graph that you follow, that is the map that you let your life course happen. Let that take your course of life. What is that course of life? Ichchaon ki purti. That is starting. But through certain understandings that we develop in time, wisdom, a lot of us start seeking because desire, इच्छा पूरी होने के बाद भी एक खालीपन नहीं जाता, एक disturbance नहीं जाती. Therefore, we start seeking something else. That's where the Vivek Buddhi starts to operate. We start asking, is this model of life complete? Is this truly fulfilling as it promises? If I get all the objects of life, if I am, say, I'm a teenager, I am pushed by society to say I must have a career, I must earn well, I will have to provide for a family, or I will have to take care of a family, I must earn enough for comforts. And my few decades of life are spent seeking that kamna, seeking that desire for artha, for kama, and that is a model of life which is acceptable. But when we start having certain experiences born from this mod, following this model of life, and we find ourselves what it promised us is not happening. It promised us that if I have money, I'll be happy. It promised us if I live in a high society, I'll be cultured. If I have a good power over my language, or if I have grace and etiquette, I'll be looked upon, I'll be honored in the society. When you realize that despite all this, there is something that remains incomplete, you start questioning the model of life. And then you start seeking another model of life. And Shastra provides us the correct model of life, which is what will contribute to our satiation, our happiness, our fulfillment, even if I have less in terms of my money, or in terms of my status, in terms of my achievements, as the society would call me, even then, in terms of my inner peace and happiness, I will have more. So, what is that model of life? In the entire second chapter, the background has been your model of life should be from this desire driven model, start introducing nishkamata in your actions, in your life. Everything being desire driven is so easy. It is like falling along with gravity. You fall down, there is no effort. Gravity is doing all the work for you. When you follow the desires, actions seem effortlessly happening. Your mind operates effortlessly. You know what you want and you know where to get it, you know how to get it, you know how to figure it out. The planning starts. But to introduce nishkamata means I should be able to operate actions, do karma without being propelled by desire alone, by the fruit of desire. My desire is to have nishkamata in my attitude. मेरी इच्छा फल से उठ के इच्छा उठ गई है. It has become qualitatively subtler. A qualitatively subtler desire will erase the grosser desire. It will overcome the grosser desire. It will help you to overcome, grow out of the grosser desire. Which is the grosser desire in this example? What I just said. What is a gross desire?
Working for
Working for desire itself, desire ridden, that model of life. By default, what's available? Introducing nishkamata. Slowly, one finds as you become a nishkami, your actions will be purer, your actions will be far, far more productive in the sense what you're aiming, what the action is centered on, it completes itself. The action completes better. You are able to perform the action better. The outcome is better, not by following the desire, but by bringing nishkamata in your action, in your attitude. A person who is completely nishkami, my example, the only example I can think that conveys a little bit of nishkamata, I repeat that example often in different contexts so that you can relate to it. When you have a child at home, eh, more so if it's your child or a grandchild, and there is a dish that is your favorite, and the last piece of it is left, and you're hungry, and you're about to enjoy, and your child or your grandchild comes and wants to have it. What is the spontaneous reaction most often? Spontaneously, you will share it. It comes spontaneously, often. There are exceptions, but naturally, let's take it. There is the share, okay, you have it. That you have it. What is it in that attitude? You didn't get the sense pleasure of it. You like it, but your desire was not fulfilled. But when you shared it, especially with your child or grandchild, you feel you've got satisfied. आपकी इच्छा पूरी हो गई. You feel as if तृप्त हो गए. You've heard that often also, no? People say, नहीं तुम खा लो हमको मिल जाएगा. You know? You do it, I'll get it. You feel that sense of tripti, even though you have denied the pleasure, the contact. Where does that tripti come from? Where did you feel the satiation from? Subtler desire. Your subtler desire meant there is a relative nishkamata there. It's relative. It is still ahankar, it is still mamakar, but with reference to yourself, fulfilling yourself, it has become nishkam. If this much tripti can come without fulfilling my desire, but making my desire subtler, by introducing nishkamata to me, if that much qualitative enjoyment has changed, what are we talking about when all my desires I can give up? This is called giving up the desire in the initial stage. When I gave up that dish of mine, last bite, I gave it up, त्याग दिया मैंने उसका भोग, and allowed it someone else to have. Now that subtler nishkamata, if this much quality difference of enjoyment I can have, even in my vyavharik life, I can see that. What are we talking about? A person whose Atma Vidya has become drid and has completely given up the chase of any desire, sees the foolishness of seeking desire, sees the mithyatvam of fulfilling desire, sees the flaw of fulfilling desire, because the desire has risen, which desire in stages, till it has come to a point that you are freed of any desire, because avidya is the cause of all desire. By subtilizing, whatever that word is, by making the desire subtler and subtler, you are growing out of the need of fulfillment of desire, and slowly, gradually, the ahankar which is associated with avidya has got dissolved, and with atma drishti, now there is complete freedom from all desires. Such a person has shanti, he gains shanti. Any amount of exposure to the world, मन में विचार भी नहीं आ सकता, हाय ये ले लूं तो मुझे आनंद मिलेगा, मुझे खुशी मिलेगी, I wish I get this, then I'll have happiness. That is not possible. Why? Because he is the source of happiness, and when the source of happiness is already expressing itself in fullness, in totality, देन काम कामी में काम ना पूर्ति में जो आनंद है वो वेयर इज इट इट्स नॉट देयर इट्स मिथ्या इट्स फॉल्स इट्स एन आभास it is not real happiness ever. Therefore, what happens to this? He says this kama kami, there are two interpretations. One is that he just gives the kama kami, he gives up all desires itself, and by giving up all those desires, even when they enter, the objects enter him, it doesn't make any change in the vritti. अंतकरण में कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता. There's no nothing, no, not a vikar, not a wave of desire born in spite of the objects entering the perception. That is one meaning, where the objects itself enter. Shankara gives that meaning. And the other meaning is desires itself he gives up. So one is at the level of desire, another is at the level of object. Nothing enters him, in other words. Only such a person, Kama Kami, will be the one opposite of this. He is the one who is seeking Kamna. He is going to be the default model of life that we all follow. Such a one can never get Shanti, but in whom all the Vishayas, all the objects can enter, and itna bhi chit mein vikar na aaye. This is such a glorious statement, and it is so elevated a state in that sense that one can only project it when one sees it in a small instance in one's life. If that small instance is possible, then definitely that is possible. What is a small instance? The example that I just gave, that little when I'm giving it up, I can see that if I give up all my chase for desires, there is a source of shanti, there is a source of happiness even in that. And I don't have to feel that there'll be no happiness there. Therefore, the one whose antakaranam, as in he's freed of it, but his inner state is like an ocean where the rivers are entering and no change happens. His inner state is, while interacting in the world, while exposed to objects and people, and while whatever prarabdha brings to him, all those lakshanas were spoken before, his antakaran remains sthir, changeless. That person now, Jnani, he is a Jnani, established in Atmagyan. 71st verse is concluding it and saying, Vihaya kamanya sarvan pumamshcharati nisprahaha. Pumamshcharati. Vihaya, leaving kam, leaving all kamanas. Vihaya, leaving them. Kaman, all the desires. Yaha, whoever, whoever. Sarvan kaman, all the desires. Whoever, yaha, pumam, person, whoever is capable of or has elevated himself, herself to be able to live without chasing desires. Whoever has been able to accomplish that, he moving about in all interactions and world, charati, moves about. How does he move about? Nispruhaha. First visheshan, first quality. Nispruhaha, without any spruha. We saw the meaning of spruha once before. Anybody remembers? Without any longing, without any yearning, free of all yearning, free of all wanting, longing, free of it. Nispruhaha. The one who has छोड़कर विहाय, क्या छोड़कर? सर्वान कामान. Entirely means he starts by establishing first in निष्कामता. एक्शंस निकलते ही तब हैं जब वो निष्काम है. कर्म योगी की एस्टैब्लिश स्टेट क्या है? उसकी एस्टैब्लिश स्टेट, establishment of karma yoga means he is established in nishkamata. Self purposeful actions don't come out only. प्रयोजन ही छूट जाता है. They are not able to relate to an action that will only fulfill them. That action there's no body identification to perform an action because there is no self desire to which they identify. They identify only with desires that are meant for others, for higher, purpose of life, which is not directly your own fulfillment. So there's no yearning in such people. Nirmamaha, without any mama. Mama is mine. Nir ahankaraha, without any egoism. Saha, that yaha, whoever. Saha, he. Shantim adhigachati. He gets shanti. He attains shanti. He goes to shanti means he attains shanti. He gets shanti. Who gets shanti? He says, now see, few words. Vihaya, first word. Shankara says, parityajya. So easy these words are, they almost sound like Hindi if you're careful. परित्यज्य, छोड़ के. विहाया का मतलब क्या है? छोड़ देना. परित्यज्य, क्या छोड़ना? What should you leave? कामान, that is in the verse. Who should leave? Yaha, in the verse. Who's that yaha? Sannyasi. Who's that sannyasi? You'll hear this very often. Kamna in Upanishads, Brahadaranyaka Upanishad, all desires that we have, in a default mode, any kind of desire can be brought down to three desires, three categories: Putraishna, Vittaishna, Lokaishna. Putra Ishna, desire for progeny, children, grandchildren, etc. Family, a desire for family. A lot of our desires will be centered. You can reduce it down to Putra Ishna. Putra doesn't just mean son, it means related to family life. Putra Ishna. Vittaishana. With means related to wealth, acquisition, possession. Desires can be reduced either to family or to wealth or to lokaishana, a better loka, a better afterlife, another Vaikuntha, Kailasha, etc. But even afterlife, a better place, lokaishana. These are three Ishanas. Ishana means desire, ichha rakhna. All our desires, if anybody has leisure and you enjoy this mananam of the Shastra, bring up in your mind for a few days what are your nature of your desires. All the desires will fall into this, except, of course, the desires for growth, which is the minute you find that you can give up these three desires, Shastra calls such a person as a sannyasi. वही सन्यासी है who has given up these three desires and related to that. That sannyasi, who is that? Puman. Puman is the word used for person. Such a person who has given up these realm of seeking desires, which every person makes it as a goal of life. They don't make that as a goal of their life. They are able to give them up. How? Not part. They don't give up one part of it and hold another part. Sarvan. And what is Sarvan? Asheshataha, without any remnant. Completely. Katsyena, completely. In totality. And then what do? Charati. They move. They are conducting. If there is Gyan Nishtha, but Prarabdha is still there is still life energy flowing through them. How do they live? Like everybody else. And what is the cheshta they do now? They don't have desire propelling them. So what do? Jivan matra cheshta asheshaha paryat, paryatati iti arthaha. They move about. Charati is paryatati. Paryatan word. We know the paryatan word, no? Paryatan kaun hai? Anybody knows the meaning of paryatan?
A tourist?
Tourist. Correct. Paryatan is tourist. Means jo doesn't stay at one place. Who's a tourist? Every day you wake up and you have a new plan for yourself. Aaj yahan jana, aaj wahan. That's tourist. Charati, this person who has Atma Vidya is also moving. Char raha hai. Paryatati. But how? Jivan matra cheshta only. Life force is still there. So whatever will sustain the life force, he puts that much cheshta, that much effort. He puts only that much effort, what will continue to sustain life. First part. Second, means that is his basic outlook to life. There is, he is कृतकृत्यः, सब कुछ कर चुका, अब कुछ शेष नहीं रह जाता. It's like saying, if I wake up, do I wake up in a small part? I hold on a small part of the dream and wake up. I say, okay, I had a very nice dream. I got a Nobel Prize in my dream. Now, but I also have a bad experience, a bad relation, supposing. Now, what do I want to do? I want to give up the bad relation, but I want to keep the Nobel Prize. So I want to wake up with the Nobel Prize, but I want to give up that bad experience. Can that happen? Can that happen? Can you wake up with a part of your dream, holding on to a part of your dream? Yes. Can you wake up?
At
Nobody?
times we remember only a part of it.
No, you not remember. I'm saying holding on to it.
Never, never, never.
Never.
No, no.
It's not possible. You cannot. You have to give up the dream entirely to wake up. You cannot say, I will hold on to a part of my dream and then I should, because it was a good dream. I don't know when it will come back again. After all, I achieved a Nobel Prize in dream. Baking में तो मिलेगा नहीं. Therefore, dream वाला तो जो है वो तो रख लूं. After it's my experience, no. See, if your buddhi can get brushed, you can justify like that. After all, I experienced it. In fact, if you take this example, you can very easily understand how he can give it up so effortlessly. Our reasoning is what? Our reasoning is, after all, this was my experience in dream. आप ना समझते नहीं हो, मेरा अनुभव है ये, मुझे नोबेल प्राइज मिला था. You're feeling so real about that Nobel Prize in the dream. And when someone tells you it's just a dream, it is not real, you will counter it to say, but I have an experience. You didn't get the Nobel Prize, you don't have the experience. I got it, I have the experience of it, which means I am the one who's enjoyed it, and I will be the one who, if I lose it, I will feel as if I've lost something precious. This is going to be my feeling. आप क्या समझोगे? आपको क्या पता? आपके साथ थोड़ी हो रहा है, आपको थोड़ी ना नोबेल प्राइज मिला था. What is that? To a man, equate that language. जो जाग गया है, उसको पता है कि entire Nobel Prize of yours and the fear of losing that Nobel Prize, both of them you will be giving it up to wake up. But when you wake up, you are not less. It never was real compared to your waking world. क्या खोया आपने? Did you leave anything? Did you leave your Nobel Prize of your dream, really speaking? By leaving that Nobel Prize, you've woken up. Because you left it, you woke up. ये स्थिति है कामनाओं की. Waking state में, when we are holding to our desires, you can never be free of the sansar. It will bring with it fear and anxiety and attachments and all this. It will bring it up. But when you give them up, you wake up to a reality, to realness. That realness and reality that you wake up to, in the light of which, in the presence of that reality, in the context of that reality, that Atma Gyan, all these achievements of this waking world and loss of the waking world is futile, is meaningless, is आभास. यहाँ प्राप्ति भी उतनी ही खाली है जितना खोना कुछ. They have the same value. It's a big state of growth in a person's perception. And when you start seeing it, living it, identifying with it, it's a huge change in a quality of even existing life. Because if I can see that what I am getting here is as equal to as getting a Nobel Prize in my dream, and if I am losing something here, it is as equivalent to losing that Nobel Prize in my dream. Both have absolutely the same value. And they are not real. But in my dream, they appear real. In my waking, I feel if my desire is not met, I'll be miserable. This is that leap that one takes. Call it faith in the beginning, call it understanding, call it anugraha, call it any term. It is that leap that one takes within oneself, and that is that all this chase of the desire is fairly meaningless. Actually, it's meaningless. It is meaningless, and therefore it becomes easy to make nishkamata your मॉडल ऑफ लाइफ, क्योंकि यहाँ कुछ प्राप्त वैसे भी नहीं है. सो if nishkamata is what I can live with, then the previous verse, apuryamanam achala pratishtham, whatever latent kamnas I have, I don't have to fear that, oh, what will happen. No, they will be met. They will be met. It seems like unusual to happen without my effort. No, you are putting effort. Where? At a subtler point. आपने अपना एफर्ट उठा दिया है. आप थोड़ी हो कि एफर्ट नहीं कर रहे हो. By making yourself निष्कामी, आपने एफर्ट उठाया है. And when you are making yourself nishkami, you are broadening your life. And when you broaden your life and focus, all that is grosser to that, nature has to provide you. It comes to you. There is whoever has visited Rishikesh, I forget the name of that ashram. There is a bhandara that takes place. Forgotten the name. He was a real sannyasi, a sadhu in, I'm talking of obviously 60s, 70s, maybe. I don't know exactly when. What is her name? It's so popular. How can I forget it? He
Paramarthashram?
No, not Paramarthashram. This is a place which is only giving bhiksha to. I'm sorry. Yeah, they do bhandara and feed all the sadhus can just come and have there. This person who started it, no, not Parma. This person who started it himself was a sannyasi. He took a sadhu, and when he went to Rishikesh to do tapasya, he found that it was very difficult. He was a rich person before, if I'm not mistaken. I'm getting all my facts mixed up. I'm sorry. I always remember the Tatparyam. So the Tatparyam of that real incident, Kali Kamlik Kshetra, correct. Thank you. Kali Kamlik Kshetra. Kali Kamlik Kshetra. He was a person of, he had renounced and took to a life of sannyas. And it so happened that people would just keep coming and giving him dakshina. He was just a normal tapasya kar rahe the, not adhyanam, not like Vedantics. He was just doing tapasya. Kali Kamlik Kshetra is there. You can Google it and find the details. Thank you. Now you can Google it and find the details for whatever I'm missing out. But the point is, the conveying factor was, the more he said no, the more he got. And finally, he opened a trust. And that trust till today runs. The amount that he received was so unbelievable. He didn't want it. The more he didn't want, the more he got. And till today, it feeds all these sadhus who just leave and have nowhere, have no support. And it gets. What is the idea? The idea is when you pick up something higher, subtler desire, the grosser gets fulfilled. And this happens in every person's life. Unless and until one knows the taste of it, If you have not tasted it, you cannot appreciate the reality of this. It's a real thing. It's not promise that Shastra makes by showing a carrot. You know how we give to children? Ye kar lo, hum tumhe ye denge karke. It's not those kind of promises. It is a real state. The more nishkami you become, more your desires are met, they reach you. This person, if he's left all desires और जी रहा है, कैसे जी रहा है? जीवन मात्रा चेष्टा कर रहा है, means he knows he has to feed the body, he has to keep it clean, he has to blah blah. And if we are in a family life, then you will have certain family obligatory duties. There is no doubt about that. All this falls into place. He lives only in the sense, mastered the sense of nishkamata in that sense. And because of this Atma Vidya now, Nishkamata se he came to Shravanam, Mananam, Nidhyas. It's a whole process. It's a whole path. Yeah? Having got that, he is now able to completely free his antakarnam. Shanti se जी रहा है, आनंद से जी रहा है, एंड इच्छाओं के पीछे बिना भागे उसकी इच्छा पूरी हो रही है. What is that anandam then? What is that anandam? Can anybody even perceive? Can you think of that state of happiness, that unsought, when your desire got met, versus you seek and you chase and you put effort and you continue to put effort and then you hope and then you finally get? Which will be the greater happiness? Which will be greater happiness?
Obviously, what you didn't seek for.
Absolutely. Now, it is not that you never got your happiness fulfilled, your desire fulfilled. It is just that you did not think it was worthy enough to lose the capacity or the capability or the opportunity or the just to bring about a change in your antakaranam. एफर्ट डालना ही है तो वो एफर्ट क्यों ना डालें? इच्छा तो फिर भी पूरी हो ही जाएगी. एंड अगर नहीं हुई, 1% चांस, शास्त्र तो कहता है सब हो जाती है इफ दे आर लेजिटिमेट, एंड होती हैं. द पॉइंट एट विच यू रिनाउंस is the point at which nature keeps you provided the rest of your life. You are never deprived. Nobody has been deprived. Point, if you were a millionaire and you renounced, nature's job is to provide the millions to you. That is already there in your, what is that, khata? Am I making sense to what I'm saying? Yeah, making sense?
Yes, Dipti ji.
Okay, thank you. Whatever you are aspiring for, if your vision is only itna, mere ko ye chahiye, mere ko ye chahiye, mere ko ye chahiye, you'll be striving, you'll be struggling, you'll continue to put effort, months and years, and continue and hoping it may be met, because where what you will seek also is a law. You will get it. That is also a law. What you seek, you get. But if you seek something higher and you give up this lower, फियर कहाँ आता है? हाय, हम छोड़ देंगे तो हमारा आनंद कहाँ है? अरे इसमें डरना क्या है जब आप हो ही आनंद स्वरूप? So what are you fearful of? कहाँ से आनंद मिलेगा? And even if you don't get that happiness, what happiness does it really hold if you wake up compared to your waking up? That happiness that I got of my Nobel Prize in dream, what value should I have to that in my waking? Even if you brag to someone, supposing you're in a working environment and you go up to your boss and say, raise my salary. He says, why? He says, The boss asks, looks at you up and down and says, "What have you done so special that I should raise your salary?" And you say, "Are, I got a Nobel Prize in my dream." Your boss will kick you out. So it's time to resign. Because if that Nobel Prize you really think is the reason that your salary should be increased, then I need your resignation. You should straight away go to a hospital, psychiatric division, go meet a doctor. Something's wrong with you. Everybody knows. Child also will know. ड्रीम की चीज वहीं छोड़नी पड़ती है. What is in my dream, my gain and my loss of my dream has to be left in dream itself. It winds up. I don't have to leave it. I will wake up and it will be left anyway. Now, this is where you make a huge leap in life. On death, also, I will be leaving all this here. ये सारा यहीं छूटेगा. छोड़ के ही मैं मरने वाला हूं. My death means I'm going to leave all this. Now, if I have to anyway leave all this, might as well consciously try and put an effort to see if I leave all this, what chance there is to wake up. Is death waking up? Is a state of death waking up? Yes or no? When I die, will I wake up? No. It's a continuity. I'm not waking up. But if I bring Nishkamata as a starting point, Indriya, any of these values, if I bring them in my effort, if my effort is for the higher, then I am waking up. All this anyway, death is taking away from me. And if I'm giving them up myself for the sake of the higher, nature will anyway fulfill them. Have a little patience. Impossible. I don't know how else to convey this. It's impossible not to be fulfilled. Shastra says it, that's why we take the courage. And so he is moving about. Sita prajna ka bhasha samadhisthasya keshava stitadhi kim prabhasheta kimasita vrajeta kim. How does he move? Question was asked. कैसे चरण करता है? He just does charan jivan matra cheshta. That much. How nispruhaha. He has even lost the spruha to jivan matra api, to keep the life sustained. He doesn't need it anymore. But he's living. Life force system running through his sharira. He still is expressing life to others. Nisprahaha. He has no longing to hold on to his life. He has no longing for it. Then, Jivan Matra api nirgata spriha yasya saha nispriha. Sun, wo rehta hai. Being so, nirmamaha. Sharira Jivan Matra kshipta parigrahe api. Mama idam iti. Whatever he has for Jivan Matra Sharir ke liye, whatever he has, that little that he has, even that, whatever little he has as necessary that he has to sustain his life, Mama idam iti, that Mama idam, ye mera hai, abhinivesha varjitaha. He doesn't have that Mama idam. A few days ago, I gave you the example of that sannyasi who came thinking he's conquered all his indriyas. And when he came to Delhi station, that little possession he had, he just didn't know how attached he'd got to those possessions. And when someone stole one of them, He was so disturbed because mama idam, this is mine. That cognition still remained as a thread, and it was capable of disturbing him, of upsetting his entire knowledge, momentarily, of course, for hoping so, thinking so. Mama idam varjitaha, completely given up, without it. Nirahankaraha, that is the subtlest point. Now, if you see all of them, nispraha, nirmama, nirahankaraha is the subtlest desire. मैं और मेरी उपलब्धि, मेरी accomplishment, मेरे गुण, मेरी quality, मेरा, मैं, that ahankar, Shankara says vidyavatva adi, vidyavatva adi. I am a knower. Similar to that. Now I have knowledge. Malum hai. There were some people many years ago. After studying Vedanta, you could sense in the entire group of, I'm talking very long ago, there is this arrogance of I know. बड़ा subtle है. विद्यावत्व means विद्यावान हूं मैं, विद्वत्व है मेरा. I know now. That subtle ahankar that I am a jnani, if that is also functioning, then you are not a jnani still. Vidvatva adi nimittat asambhav nimitta atma sambhavana rahitaha. There is absolutely no rahitaha, gone. संभावना ही नहीं है. आत्म संभावना कि मैं ये हूं, ये मेरा है. All this is not there. The one in whom all this is not there, saha, he, sthita prajnaha. Who is that sthita prajnaha? Beautiful words. जिसकी प्रज्ञा स्थित हो गई है, आत्मा विद्या स्थिर हो गई है. This itself is such a beautiful direction to life. Who is that sthita prajna? Brahmavid. He knows Brahman now. He has discerned. That is why we say moksha is the highest purusharth. इससे ऊंचा कोई पुरुषार्थ है नहीं. इसके अलावा सब पुरुषार्थ actually are व्यर्थ except that purusharth which will help one towards Brahmavidya. Brahmavid hai wo. It's not an automatic process that one lifetime you will wake up and you are a jnani. Oh wow, I found myself, I'm a jnani today. पुरुषार्थ नहीं किया तो ज्ञानी ऑटोमेटिक अवस्था नहीं है. It's not a, how young age, young body to middle-aged body to old-aged body, how body is changing vikari apne aap. A question can be asked, can my moksha also come apne aap? I'll continue to live a good life. I'll continue to live a noble life. I'll continue to do good deeds. Will it automatically happen one day? Like my body changes from childhood to young age, etc. अपने आप ही हो रहा है ना? I'm not doing anything. Is the question clear? That one can ask, will moksha come apne aap? Can moksha happen apne aap? No. That पुरुषार्थ का ही फल है ये. कौन सा पुरुषार्थ? स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम निष्कामता, इंद्रिय निग्रह, श्रवणम, मननम, निधि, ये सब पुरुषार्थ है. They are all efforts. That effort, the one who has, he's a Brahmavid. The conclusion of that effort is he's able to sometime completely eradicate, destroy avidya, destroy as in नष्ट हो जाती है उसका ज्ञान कि मैं ये शरीर हूँ, वो भ्रांति खत्म हो जाती है, डिस्ट्रॉयड कंप्लीटली. सच अ ब्रह्मविद शांतिम, he gets shantim. What kind of a shanti? Sarva sansara dukkha uparama lakshana. All this sarva sansara is, which is characterized by dukkham, nirvanakyam. It is nirvanam, called nirvana, means now he's withdrawn. All the dukkhas have gone. Adi gacchati, chali gayi. And what does he gain? Prapnoti. What did he gain? Brahma bhutaha bhavati iti artha. Now he is Brahman alone. Such a one man, a person who gives up all desiring and all mamatvam and ahankar, he attains the absolute peace. He attains absolute shanti. He attains a state of changeless shanti. वही चाहिए हमको. चाहिए वो, मगर पुरुषार्थ कहाँ डल रहा है? Who will get
Desires.
हाँ, excellent.
Desire.
चाहिए वो, लेकिन पुरुषार्थ डिजायर फुलफिलमेंट में हो रहा है. Do you see the illogicality of it? अगर डिजायर फुलफिलमेंट में पुरुषार्थ हो रहा है, तो you cannot ask for that shanti. It won't happen. Purusharth has to be in the right direction. Desire fulfillment you can seek, but if you seek desire fulfillment, then it comes with its own criteria. What is the criteria? If it is met, it will give you temporary happiness. If it is not met, it will keep you in struggle. And if it is met, you will have fear of losing it. If it is not met, you will always feel sad and unhappy and etc. So it is coming with its own criteria. Desires have their own conditions attached to it. सा एषा ज्ञान निष्ठा स्तूयते. ऐसी ज्ञान निष्ठा की स्तुति करते हुए, glorifying the state of jnana nishtha, comes the next verse, the last verse of this chapter. And what is that? Esha Brahmi Sthiti Partha. O Parth, O Arjun. This Atmanisht is the sthiti of one who has attained Brahman, gained Brahman, has owned up his Brahman Swabhav. Having attained that, na enam prapya vimuhyati. He once again never gets deluded. Vimuhyati, deluded. Vimohit, na enam prapya. Enam, the one who's got this sthiti now. Atmanish sthiti. Wo. That person, that now Atmanisht. Once you've gained Atmanishtha, you can never again get deluded to believe that you're an individual. Once you've woken up, you have woken up for good. Sthitvasyam antakalepi. Sthitva asyam antakale api. If this sthiti, Brahman cognition, I am Brahman, antakala api, even at the last moment of your life, you are able to come to establish in your Atma Drishti. Last moment, look at the grace of this Shastra. Just before you are dying, there is a moment of Viveka that comes in everyone's life. Just a moment before you die, there is a Viveka that happens. Most people lose it. Why? Because our desires have been identified and we are only, those thoughts are surfacing and we have fear of losing life or death and fear of next life, and a lot of such things. Whatever you've held in your subtle body is what will surface then. But he says here, even at the last moment of your life, if you are able to own up your nature as Brahman, that Viveka happens, and you say, oh, it's that संध्या काल में जब आप अभी पूरे उठे नहीं हैं लेकिन पूरे सोए नहीं हैं. Sometimes it happens, no, rarely it happens at a time when you're just waking up, but you're not asleep, but you've not woken up. It's that moment that comes. You're conscious that I'm not fully awake, but I'm not sleeping. They are contradictory, वैसे. Averagely speaking, it may sound very absurd to anybody listening to this, but sometimes it's a moment, just a moment, and that moment after that you completely identified with the body and you've woken up. Just before death, if that viveka operates, and as the body is, you're leaving the body is being left behind, and the cognition is, oh, I was never the body. Even while my whole life I may live 60, 70, 80, 90 years, but I was never the body. And who was I? Who am I? At that time when the body is shed, you're shedding it off, and the cognition of your Brahmatvam, Brahman being you, happens. He says, even then you go to Brahman, you don't come back again. You're released from this cycle of birth and death and chasing and seeking and atripti and aprapti and this and that, and you're freed of it all. And Shankara says here very beautifully, there's just one interesting word here, kimu vaktavyam. That kimu vaktavyam means he's saying, Moolam, Krishna is saying that even at that time, if you remember, later on he's going to say, if you remember me, you'll come to me. If you are able to have Viveka Shakti at that time, and you're able to see the body being shed and say this was always an Atma, and you are able to own up your Atma Drishti and not get carried away by the flow of the subtle body, the overpowering of the subtle body and the emotions, and you don't get drowned in those feelings and thoughts, but your Viveka Shakti is alert and available. He says, if at that time also you get moksha and you don't come back, then what are we talking about? Those who are Jivan Muktas, who would have straight, say, from Brahmachari Avastha, Viveka Shakti, say they came straight to sannyasa, not in the ochre clothes, but were able to give up the chase of the desires. What are we talking? Kim Utta Kaimutika Nyaya, it is called. Kim Utta. What are we talking about those people? Definitely you will get it, is the Tatparyam. Yavat Jivam. Yaha Brahmani eva avatishthate saha Brahma nirvanam richati iti. What are we talking about? Those then who are already in Atmanishtha and living a life. They definitely have got the state of Brahman. They are definitely identified with Brahman. And so he said, Esha Brahmi Sthitihi. This is the sthiti of one who is the knower of Brahman. O Arjuna, attaining which, prapya, attaining which, one never gets deluded to believing yourself the name and form ever again. Sthitva, in this cognition of Brahman, even at the last minute of your life, you are able to get that clarity. And you are holding to that clarity. You've joined with that clarity. Then you go to Brahman. You have attained Brahman. You never come back again. I think we have covered this entirely now. And that concludes the second chapter. I will just end this. Iti Srimad Paramahamsa. Oh, acha, okay, sorry. This is Shankara's Bhashyam's ending. Iti Srimad Paramahamsa Parivrajaka Acharya Govinda Bhagavat Pujya Pada Shishya Srimad Shankara Bhagavataha Kritau Srimad Bhagavad Gita Bhashye Sankhya Yogo Nama Dvitiyo Dhyayaha. There should be the other one also. That must be here. Om Tat Sat Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Supanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Sankhya Yogo Nama Dvitiyo Dhyayaha. And what is very interesting to note is, if you are careful as a student, what question Arjuna asked in Sthita Prajna portion till the very end, and what he asked in the beginning, what he was actually suffering from in the very beginning, my people, my, that aham and mama that he was talking about. They are my, remember all these verses when he said the second chapter first, losing them I will be,
Yes.
all of that.
I will go to hell.
Exactly.
I should not fight the war. I should run away.
Exactly.
Become a sannyasi.
All that. Very good. And Krishna had started here by saying, you are grieving. That itself is a sign of your delusion. Connect
Wise
the
people don't
chapter.
grieve.
Wise people don't grieve. Then connect the whole chapter from 11th to the 72nd verse. Your grieving is a sign that you have avidya. And if avidya is your nature, at this means, if you have avidya, means you are. There is nothing called having avidya. There is only absence of vidya. You don't have knowledge. The fact that you don't have the real knowledge with you, you don't have the real tattvam, you don't have the knowledge of who you are, nahi hai wo. Abhi nahi hai, abhi aap, you're an agyani. Therefore, you're grieving for all this ephemeral world. You've not woken up. And that he conclude here entirely in the end by saying, look at the way he answered.
Yeah, how does a split prajna person be? How does he behave? How does he move around the world?
Correct. And therefore at the end, nirmama nirankaraha nisprahaha, without any desires. So are you, Arjuna, a person who has given up his desires? Or did you have a desire in you that you wanted to fight the war, even if it is to do your duty? You came prepared. Are you a one who is not hurt by by the Kauravas? Are you a one who's not having a sense of mama? Are you a one who doesn't have a sense of aham? You have identified with your sharira, with your being kshatriya. Your nature is to fight. Therefore, all the skill of life that you have achieved as a great archer and a great prince is not coming to your rescue to give you a solution to your suffering. Therefore, to qualify for that, what will handle your suffering, you have to prepare yourself. That is your real battleground. And it is a battleground, no doubt about it. Sakam se Nishkam Ana is a battleground. The only blessing is whoever comes from Sakam to Nishkam, Purusharth bhi agar karta hai, Krishna is on his side. Means you have the entire nature supporting. that effort of yours. Therefore, O Arjuna, be wise and come to your real state of who you are today and program your own growth. The direction is set by Shastra. Principles will remain same irrespective of where, which culture, which situation, those unique situations to each one, same principle will apply in your unique situation. It will not change. But how you will apply it will have to be modified according to your environment. So, same principle, sakam to nishkam is your starting, indriya nigraha is your starting. Shravanam is already going on for as long as these classes or whatever, we are already listening. That Shravanam has to go through the cycle of Mananam and Nididhyasanam. Without Nididhyasanam, Shravanam is adequate for an Uttamadhikari who's already given up the desires. Shravan will give knowledge. You don't need Mananam and Nididhyasanam. Shankara doesn't mention these three separate. It is Acharyas later who said, okay, Mananam and Nididhyasanam. And it's become acceptable, it's okay, because most of the people are still not even clear about the Shravanam. Knowledge जो सुन रहे हैं उसमें भी थोड़ा confusion रहता है. Doubtless knowledge नहीं बनता. Therefore, reflect on what you hear. Make sure you get the right knowledge from a, you know, make sure you get a paramparik drishti of seeing the Shastra. And then reflect and then Nididhyasan. And as you do it, Krishna says, I'm on your side, Arjuna. I'm not leaving you. He says, I'm here as your Sarthi. Therefore, you get ready to fight your battle. Which battle? Not outside. Outside is your duty. Do what you're supposed to do. Fight the battle within. Get freed of this desiring nature of yours. Okay. In tradition, whenever we complete a chapter, we say we don't complete it because our knowledge needs reinforcement all the time. Therefore, tradition is that after we complete a chapter, we chant the first verse all over again to say that I'm restarting my Shravanam and Mananam and Nididhyasanam till my knowledge is complete. I will keep redoing it. So we'll chant this together. Everybody can chant it in your own place. Sanjaya Uvacha Tantatha Kripayavishtam Ashrupurnakulekshanam Vishidantamidam Vakyam Uvacha Madhusudanaha. The alternative reading of this chanting is Tantatha Kripayavishtam Ashrupurnakulekshanam Vishidantamidam Vakyam Uvacha Madhusudanaha. Ishwararpanamastu. May we be blessed by the knowledge. And now next week we will not have a class, the coming Saturday and Sunday. The dates are what must be 29, 28th and 29th probably. What is the date?
28, 29, Jeetji.
So 28, 29 we will not have a class, as we said. From 30th to 3rd, we will have a retreat full day. It is in sessions. There will be morning meditation session, then a break, then a session 1 hour 15 minutes where we'll revise the verses, quickly go over them, 4-5 verses at a time, and then a break, then another another 5-6 verses at a time, and then a break for lunch and everything. And then evening we'll have another session where if there are any questions anybody has, or if there is anything else, or else there'll be some exercises that can be picked up from those verses that you can keep as a standby. So we'll do that in 5 days. You all put me into conflict because I know you're all working, but we'll see. I'll send you the details by email. Um, tomorrow evening tak hi hoga probably, or maybe day after. And that's it. So next week we won't have, and probably the week after that also we may not have. And but I'll send you the messages, and if we don't have that. So can you conclude, Divya? And next time when we sorry 1 minute. Next time when we meet, we'll be starting with the 3rd chapter. Continue.
Om Sarvesham Swastirбhavatu Sarvesham Shantirbhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhavet Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Swasti Prajabhi Paripalanantam Nyayena Margena Mahimahishah Gobrahmanebhya Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyah Prithvi Sasya Shalini Deshoyam Shoparahitah Brahmana Santu Nirbhaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
So thank you, everyone. We'll meet you.
Thank you, Diptiji. Hari Om. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Diptiji, thank you.
Hari Om. Thank you.
Thank you, Diptiji.
Thank you, Ji.
The broadcast of Facebook Live has stopped. Recording has stopped.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Hari Om Diptiji.
Hari Om Ji.